These are the latest PCs to have been flipped. This one flipped yesterday. I did talk about it in the video I made yesterday. But shortly afterwards, I was surprised that this one right here, the same model, Lenovo ThinkCentre M710Q, also sold. When I'm taking a look at this PC right here, I am highly impressed, because I really want to think that whoever is going to get this PC is going to be excited. The PCs have absolutely no scratch whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and open one of them so that you can see on this PC is a Core i7 processor on it. This is actually very interesting. See, guys, it's still too early to say, but I want to feel like eBay is kind of opened already. Just want to get my screwdriver to be sure that I am opening these PCs so that you can actually get to see what is inside. I think on one of them, I have to actually go ahead and upgrade the SSD or the RAM. I'm not so sure. I still have to take a look at the, the other details to see exactly, which is which. Just going to take that out like that and pop that out and see what's inside. This is exactly how the inside of this little PC looks like. Kind of dusty, but it's absolutely not a problem. I can actually go ahead and clean it up. And behind of it, right here, is the SSD and the RAM slot. Like I said, I still have to take a look at the other details to know which of them, but I'm so sure that one of these buyers actually did request for a 32GB of DDR4 RAM, which I'm going to go ahead and install. Definitely, I'm going to be doing that before I even attempt to send out this mini PC. That's the NVMe SSD. This one right here is a 256GB of NVMe SSD. Definitely very good quality. Like I said, it's still too early to say, but I'm just hoping that eBay, for one reason or the other, will remain like this, because if they do remain like this, I can pretty much tell that things are going to get popping again. Last week was kind of very strange. Things were just like on standstill mode, but this week now is already showing me that, look, we are ready for action. And if you are flipping PCs for profit, this is the best thing that you want. That when you go ahead, you list your offers, they are going to be sold. Somebody's going to be interested in them and buying them. It makes no sense when you have made a lot of work, trying to list offers, make photos and set them up, and the offer just kind of sits there like cricket mode for so long. It's kind of very discouraging. But when things are moving, this is also very, clean, but I still have to do a little bit of cleaning right there. This is not a problem, like I always say. So when things are moving, things are selling, the motivation is just at an all-time high. One of these PCs have to be shipped out with 2GB of DDR4 RAM, and I've got this product right here. It's called Patriot. Never really use this product so long, but this is one of the very few times I'm using this. I did get a very good offer on this, and I felt like why not give it a try and see how it performs. So I've got here 16GB modules of this Patriot DDR4 RAM. I'm just going to go ahead and pop it out and make sure that this PC is actually ready, to be shipped out. And on the other PC, I need to actually, ship it out to the 16GB of DDR4 RAM. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out the 8GB that's here, which is right here. And I'm just going to make sure that it goes into this PC, while the 32GB of DDR4 RAM actually comes here. This is very easy to do, and I'm really hoping that this RAM, for one reason or the other, doesn't disappoint me. Like I said, this is the very first time I'm using this RAM, but hopefully, if it works well, I will be able to come back here and also tell you guys about it. Hopefully somebody out there might find it to be very useful. So I'm going to go ahead and close this and do exactly what I have to do to make sure that this PC is ready to be on its way. I feel like the game has changed. People no longer want to have PCs that are coming with all manner of scratches. When people go online to try to buy a used PC, they are expecting, to have a PC that will be presentable, not something that they will bring out. They will be kind of, ashamed to tell their friend that they bought it online. And I see this mistake being made over and over and again. People try to, sell used PCs. The first thing they want to do is to think of, the most destroyed PC, because they feel like they don't want to spend money buying an expensive PC. They feel like all the customers out there are actually just looking for the cheapest pieces. Of course, there was a time where people just wanted to buy cheap pieces online, but right now, the game has since changed, and people buy pieces from you on eBay. It doesn't matter how cheap, they expect to receive an item that's a little bit presentable. If it's a mini PC like this, nobody wants to see a PC with some broken front blend. So when you go out to thrift for items, even though these items are cheap, well, except for the fact that if you want to actually go ahead and pull them apart and sell them for parts, if you are thinking that somebody is going to give you, 300 and whatever euros for a laptop that is already defective or not in the best optical condition, you better have to think again, because things have since changed. And when I receive pieces to flip online, I always make sure that the pieces are in the best condition. Sometimes I have to go out of my way to just ensure that this is so. And if I want to advise you, ensure that you also consider this when you go out thrifting or when you receive very decent offers from any of your suppliers. Yes, there is the pressure to sell items, but at the same time, you have to take care that you minimize any kind of, risk that might come from you buying items that eventually you cannot actually go and resell on a platform like eBay or wherever you choose to sell your items. Guys, we have a problem. For one reason or the other, this PC right here is refusing to read, the DDR4 RAM, the 32GB DDR4 RAM I have installed on it. If I go to the BIOS, I see here that it's saying that 16GB of RAM is installed, even when I know that I have actually, installed 32GB on this PC. And if I go to the Lenovo homepage, I'm just going to make it bigger so that I can actually take a look at what Lenovo is saying about this PC. Yes, this PC actually does have, the possibility, for a 32GB RAM size. I have tried everything I could. There are just two things I suspect. Either I haven't properly installed one of the RAM sticks, or I have to go ahead and do a BIOS update on this PC. But the first thing I'm going to try is just to, unplug, switch off the PC, take out the RAM sticks and then plug it on one after the other. Sometime in the past, this has actually helped me. I'm just going to use the same technique right now, which is put off the PC, take out all the RAM sticks, try to insert them one after the other. Hopefully, this solves the problem. Like I suspected, this actually did solve the problem. So luckily for me, I have the system now ready with a 2GB of DDR4 RAM. Just going to go ahead and finish everything I have to do and still make sure that this PC is taken to the post office today. Yes, some of these kind of inconveniences does happen. When it happens like this, you don't need to panic, you don't need to fret, because over time, if you keep flipping PCs, definitely you're already going to have, accumulated experiences in different situations. And when it happens like this, you just need to keep testing what has proven to work in the past. And in this case, luckily for me, I didn't have to do anything. But if I really want to do a good job, I could equally go ahead and make sure that this BIOS is up to date. But right now, all things well and good. I must say that this is a very, very, clean laptop. It's a HP EliteBook 745G6 laptop. Decent laptop, decent condition. I am super optimistic that when I go ahead to send this laptop out to the buyer today, the buyer is going to receive it tomorrow. And the buyer is going to definitely come back here and give me a positive review, because me looking at this laptop, I can easily tell that it's in the best condition. I have gone ahead, to check it, make sure that it's working properly. The loudspeakers are working. The SSD is pretty much new. I just installed a 1TB SSD on this system, brand new. So I imagine that whoever has bought this is definitely going to be satisfied. And satisfy my buyers is something I constantly strive to achieve. Of course, there are going to be times where you won't be able to meet up, but as much as I can, I want to make sure that anybody that comes to my shop to buy a PC that I'm trying to flip for profit is definitely going to be satisfied. In between all this, the eBay seller update for June 2025 is out. This is kind of interesting because I was actually expecting this to be released some few days ago. I was even asking myself, when are we going to receive the eBay seller update? Because I kind of like to read this update. Of course, this video is not going to be about that. But once in a while, eBay tends to put us in the know of exactly what they are doing. And this particular update for June 2025 is no exception. I'm going to be making a dedicated video about this, but just for us to take a look at the highlights is always in 3 sections like this. I'm seeing here that with our June update, we'll help you manage complex everyday sales tasks. This will enable you to act more efficiently and successfully, expanding your business. Benefit from sale-based loan with no fee spend. Of course, eBay is also telling you right now that, look, if you want to expand your business, now is actually possible. As a matter of fact, I have been receiving a lot of requests to take a loan. Sometimes I get this email that I am already qualified for 10,000 euros. Yes, it's a good thing, because right now, one thing you can actually do, if you have an airtight business model, getting a loan might be a very good thing that you can actually do, because there might be possibility for you to get very good transactions and you want to quickly buy them, only if you are sure that there are no competitors waiting to destroy that transaction. If you are sure you've done your due diligence and you are seeing some computers or some monitors or some laptops, very good prices, and you are really sure that you can bring them to the market and flip them for profit, getting a loan to do that might just be a good thing. eBay has a new partner called YouLend. Hopefully, they will be able to facilitate this. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details of that. I'm not going to click on it even. Offers for item with the item condition refurbished or new order will soon receive a new eBay additional protection logo. Of course, eBay is going to try to ensure that, look, if you offer your item as refurbished or in new condition, something like this, eBay is going to ensure that even the buyers get more protection for this. This has always been, eBay is for buyer satisfaction. They want a situation where when buyers come to the platform to try to buy stuff, they are guaranteed of satisfaction. In the event that they do not like the items, eBay is saying, don't worry, as a buyer, you are protected. We will ensure that you get your money back at no cost to you. So this is a very good thing that eBay is even pushing it further to say, look, for refurbished items, there's going to be a new logo. I'm kind of interested how that will be. And if you come here, tools you trust, the seller cockpit will receive a new look in the future. You see, just last week, sales were down. I wouldn't know if it's because of this, because going by what we know about eBay, whenever there's a redesign, a new feature being deployed, somehow sales don't just go through. And this might not be unconnected to what we experienced last week, but I do not know. I do not have the back information. And like I said, I'm not going to be clicking on this in this video. We're going to be doing a separate video to address that. But they are saying that the seller cockpit will receive a new look in the future. The newly designed overview page allows you to quickly and easily access tools you use most frequently. That will be good, just to make sure that we can easily navigate our way through the eBay seller cockpit. And the optimized price suggestion page makes it easier to convert interested parties to buyers. You see, anything that will make a buyer to click on the buy it now button, I am for a feature like that. If it means redesigning the page, if it means, making it possible for buyers to see your, description at a glance, to enable them actually, make a quick decision as to click on the buy it now button, I am definitely for that. But the only thing is, whenever all these features are being deployed, we hope that the platform will not just from nowhere, mysteriously stop getting sales and sell internationally. If you sell internationally, I sell in Germany. If you sell in Netherlands, wherever in Australia, in the US, in the UK, definitely there is also a session for this. Definitely, I'm going to be looking into this in the next video. Hopefully, I can actually do justice to all these suggestions that eBay is talking about. And if this is what you want to see, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I see from my analytic page that a lot of you are not subscribed. Even though you watch my videos, I want to make a special plea. If this content interests you, you are interested or even remotely interested in flipping PCs, do me a favor, ensure you are subscribed to the channel, turn on the notification bell so that you are informed whenever I post a similar content like this. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.